Welcome to Talking Politics. I am Paul Gable. I'm here with my good friend and co-host John Bond Sr. And today we're welcoming Johnny Fryer, who's going to talk to us a bit about politics and whatever else John has him talking about.
What do you mean by that?
Well, welcome back, Johnny. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I know John has something he wants to ask you about.
He just said whatever John wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about your experience as a businessman, because you've been very successful and you've helped a lot of people go through it. I was a SCORE counselor for many years, setting up businesses and so forth. And your name kept cropping up as one of the young talents in Horry County to see. Isn't that something? You're so young to have that title. Now, what is it about you and business that you have this sterling personality?
You're so young to have the title Young Talent.
Right?
I'm not quite sure I understand that one.
I might be getting old to be young talent.
Well, he doesn't understand anything, so don't let that bother you. But go ahead, answer the question.
Well, John, I've spent a good bit of time with you over the past 10 years, and you're so complimentary, I want to spend more.
Touche.
You know, I was lucky. My father was a businessman. My mother was a businessman. My grandfather was a businessman, but that wasn't really what he was known for. But every time my parents went to go do business when I was a child, they always took me with them. And I remember being maybe 12 years old, and my dad took me to a CPA, and he taught me the rule of 72, which is kind of how to double money in your head with interest rates.
Interest rate.
All right. So
the interest rate times the number of years to 72 is when the money will double.
So, I mean, I was just blessed to be put in those types of situations early, and I just always loved it.
Uh-huh. Well, Paul just talked about the series of 72, and he looked directly at me like I didn't know what you were talking about. But he has to remember, I'm a little bit older than he is, and I've been through the business world many more times than he has. But however, that being said, John, the important thing is now you've gone out of business and you're getting into the role of politics. So you're using politics and your skills of business to promote various candidates. Now you're promoting one particular candidate that's going to be running county-wide in this coming series of primaries. And that person is?
Clark Parker.
There you go, Clark Parker. Where's your fan?
I need a fan.
Where's your fan? I mean, we need the fan. Now, Paul Gable, as you know, he has a magazine. Was that a magazine, a daily? Did you ever get his Grand Strand Daily? You ever get that?
John, it's only an internet website.
Time out. Do you ever read the Grand Strand Daily?
I've seen it, yes.
And who do you think is the author of that? Who do you think is a reporter?
Well, I'm imagining
right there.
Who do you think is the only guy involved?
He never sends it to me. You know why he doesn't send me the Grand Strand Daily?
Why is that?
Because I would go back. Wait a second, Paul. I'm talking. You just relax.
It's available on the internet for anybody who wants to see it.
But you send it out to 100 various people. He doesn't send it to me. You know why? Because I respond to it. Oftentimes, I give the opposite point of view than Paul, and he doesn't like that. He's like so many other people.
I couldn't care less about that.
Oh, you don't care less? Okay, no. Then why don't you send it to me? But anyway, this is John's show. John, don't let us bigger and get you off track. So what are you doing for Parker at the moment? How is he doing? He's going to be running in June, I guess, in the primary.
He will be. We're doing great. He's doing great.
And when you say great, in what sense is great?
So we're focusing on a couple of different things. One is, signage, and we're doing larger signs and putting them in private property. But everyone we talk to seems, and this, I've been involved with campaigns before, and this isn't the norm, but everyone we talk to seems positive.
Yeah, but you can't go by that because they tell you one thing because they're facing you and they do another thing when it comes time to vote. But you're saying you're doing something different. Everything is different in this world. What is different than Parker's doing that is outside of the norm of politics or campaigning?
We're doing a lot for our volunteers, and we're doing a lot to get to know our constituents. As you know, Clark's an honorary founder at Coastal, so we're trying to slay two dragons at once. We're trying to promote Coastal and also get to know our constituents and treat them to a night of football.
Yeah, but when he's facing a candidate, possibly she's probably going to run again, Lois Ertl, who is presently the auditor. She has a following out there and a track record. So now Parker has to match up with that. And you got the volunteers. Are you telling the volunteers some of the goals and aims that Parker has to add to the office of auditor?
Yeah, we think Lois has done a great job. She's been there for 25 or so years. The biggest thing that we see, the biggest challenge we see for the county is the immense growth. And with that growth, you've got a lot more, particularly in the auditor's position, when you have personal property taxes, you've got a lot more cars, you've got a lot more boats, you've got a lot more everything. Mm-hmm. And we need to bring the auditor's office into this century. We're woefully behind in technology. Clark has outside of being a certified public accountant and had done audits in the past.
Yeah, but that's a different kind of audit.
It is.
That's a totally different kind of audit.
It is. But he's uniquely talented to the audit process, which it is different. But what I was getting at is the technology. We have an office, the main office is on 21st Avenue. Mm-hmm. We've got an office in the upstate, and we have an office in Florida. All of our offices work through the internet. We spend about
Well, how do you differentiate, as Paul says, is a completely different type of an audit? So are you familiar with the audits that the...
Well, you got to remember, the auditor doesn't audit anything.
But they go, what do they do then?
In the county office. It's a title. They prepare tax bills. That's what they do.
Well, they also check to make sure that the assessor has treated everything fairly through GAAP principles.
Well, not really.
Maybe not in the past, but that's what the job description says.
Well, it may say that, but the point is this: the assessor has his own thing, and then of course you have the treasurer who actually does the collecting. Mm-hmm. And as far as GAAP principles go, the county doesn't even follow GAAP principles.
Wow.
But you know, that's the point here. You have titles like auditor, but she's not an auditor.
She doesn't audit. She's not a public auditor.
But it says auditor, doesn't it say that?
That's the
title. So when you say audit, what do you think? They're going to be auditing books and so forth. But you're saying that it's not what she does.
They prepare.
She prepares. So, okay, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people out there are not familiar with all of these terms and what each department does. So that's why we want to educate them. That's our point, to educate them, to let them know so they're familiar with the various departments and what they do. Now, you said Lois has been there for over 28 years, but she's been way beyond that, I believe, isn't she? She's close to...
She's been in the audit office. She won the election in '92.
Okay, so there you go. 92.
That was her. So she took office in July. She took office in July of '93, because the auditor and the treasurer are the two positions that elected positions where there has to be the end of the fiscal year, and they take over at the beginning of a new fiscal year as opposed to the new calendar.
In July.
So it's July 1st. Uh-huh. But yeah, and then of course she was in the legislature and all that before that. She got 50 years in elected politics, but we're not here to talk about Lois.
Well, he was just saying that Lois her office has to come up to date now with new technologies, and insofar as all of these new people coming in, having new cars and boats and so forth. And we're going to learn from him exactly what Clark is aiming at and what he's targeting and what he's promising the people that he would deliver. So apparently, you go next, Paul. Go ahead.
Apparently, it's time for a break.
Okay, apparently.
And we will be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a server at Brothers Grill, and as a server here, I like to make sure everybody has amazing service and good fresh food every single day. We serve lunch and dinner from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., our happy hours from 4 to 7, and we're located on 5900 North Kings Highway. Follow us on Facebook at Brothers Grill Myrtle Beach.
Hey man, I'm on my way to the finest place for everyone to play, where the drinks are cool if the sun is hot, and the Myrtle's Inlet's Marsh Walk.
Enjoy spectacular waterfront dining and live music with breathtaking saltwater marsh views at the Myrtle's Inlet Marsh Walk. Marsh Walk, where the view, the music, and the fun are always free. Marsh Walk, Highway 17 Business, Waterfront, Myrtle's Inlet.
My name is Angelo Antonucci, and I'd like to welcome you to my restaurant. I've been in Myrtle Beach now for over 30 years, and we are the home of the greatest steaks in the universe.
Here at Angelo's, we have a fantastic Italian buffet with your favorite pastas served with meatballs and sausage and delicious gourmet pizzas. But where we really shine is our entrees like our scampi traditional, Alfredo or lemon romano served over linguine, our French pork chops with garlic mashed potatoes, and our twin fillets featuring our signature marsala sauce. It's a great place to enjoy with family and friends, so stop by and see us at our new location at the corner of 24th Avenue South and South Kings Highway.
Don't just take my word for it. Come in and try Angelo's, home of the greatest steaks in the universe.
Here at Angelo's.
Well, welcome back. We're at our studio at 605C North Kings Highway in Myrtle Beach, and we have Johnny Fryer here today, and he's, right now, he's been talking about the Clark Parker campaign. So, John, you were asking a question.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to you is that you're coming up with novelties, and you're coming up with new ideas and new technology. What are they, and how are they going to be integrated into the auditor's office? How are you going to make it more modern? You say you want to bring it into this century. Apparently, it's not in this century, according to you. But how are you going to do that? Just tell the people so they have an understanding, first of all, what the order does. Secondly, what is the new ideas that Clark is going to get? You have volunteers. Are they up to date of what Clark's campaign is, what his aims and what his goals are?
One of the things I've been spending most of my time when I do speeches or whatnot is basically explaining to people what the auditor does. You're both correct. Most people just don't know. I want to go back to what you said, Paul, because you said it's a different type of audit, and it is. But I want to elaborate a little bit.
Let me say this to you. The type of auditing that Clark has done is the type that could be done if he worked in the finance office for Barry Spivey.
Yeah, Barry. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but Barry was once a
Clark's
partner.
partner. I know. But what I'm saying is that's that kind of auditing. This is a whole different ballgame.
I understand that. This auditing deals with two things, and it makes Clark uniquely prepared for it. It deals with numbers, and it deals with people. And when the things that need to be done in the auditor's office is going to have to be done through the county with getting additional funds. I mean, there's no magic wand. If we want to improve the technology, we're going to have to get more money.
How much more are you looking at?
Well,
what do you estimate?
We don't have those numbers yet. We have to, I mean, before that can be determined, we have to do an audit of the whole operation. We announced not too long ago, we're working on building up support for the campaign. We're working on name recognition. We're going to figure this out. There's a unique disadvantage to someone who's running for a political office. You don't have everything out in front of you.
It's so confusing. Like today, there was a headline in the local paper saying that a local auditor has found discrepancies of over $10 million in the city's finances and so forth. So
Is that Myrtle Beach?
All of this is important. It wasn't a local paper. I don't want to mention the
Which
local paper
city?
because the local paper doesn't do any service to the community. They only worry about crime.
Which city?
Myrtle Beach.
That's what I asked.
Well, I'm saying that 3 times. You didn't give me that note. You're supposed to be a conductor. You're supposed to cut me. Okay, there you go. But anyway, so therefore, auditors are very important. And as he points out, the office, again, we're being redundant, and I don't mean to be, is quite differently than what you do as an auditor out in the field.
But
So
what you're saying right now is you're
But he-
looking more on building name recognition, getting
Yeah,
volunteers,
but he also,
and what have
what
you.
he also wants to address is some of the new technologies he wants to employ in the auditor's office, and I'm trying to find out what it is. That's
Yeah, my efforts in the campaign isn't exactly on the technical side, so that would be a better question to the candidate as far as exact moves.
so that's
I'm just saying this. It's if you own your own business, it's very easy to say I want to upgrade and I want to upgrade and I want to upgrade because I mean it's your money,
Right.
And you're the one and you know what you need and what have you. When you're dealing with a public office, you're dealing with tax funds and you're dealing with that terrible problem of spending the people's money and hopefully, and this may be the problem they have in Myrtle Beach right now, hopefully intelligently, or if they're not intelligently. And that's all I'm saying. And you got to find out what there is and what they got and how it ties in and who it ties into and then what the cost is, you know?
Paul, who's more better suited to help spend the people's money than someone who's used to spending their own money? A business person is uniquely qualified to understand that the money is not unlimited. Not like politicians who it's always other people.
Well, that's always been an argument. I would say to you that in this last year in the federal government, we have had certainly a premier businessman in charge, and we've run a $1 trillion deficit. So I'm not sure that holds.
Well, a lot of the
why does he bring that in? That is a completely different subject. He wants to knock somebody.
John,
I'm not
guess
going to go
what?
in that phase.
I just got cut off. It's time
the thing
take
is
a break, and we'll let you answer it then, John. We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a server at Brothers Grill, and as a server here, I like to make sure everybody has amazing service and good fresh food every single day. We serve lunch and dinner from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., our happy hours from 4 to 7, and we're located on 5900 North Kings Highway. Follow us on Facebook at Brothers Grill Myrtle Beach.
Hey man, I'm on my way to the finest place for everyone to play, where the drinks are cool and the sun is hot, and the Merle's in this marsh walk.
Enjoy spectacular waterfront dining and live music with breathtaking saltwater marsh views at the Merle's Inlet Marsh Walk. Marsh Walk, where the view, the music, and the fun are always free. Marsh Walk, Highway 17 Business, Waterfront, Merle's Inlet.
My name is Angelo Antonucci, and I'd like to welcome you to my restaurant. I've been in Myrtle Beach now for over 30 years, and we are the home of the greatest steaks in the universe.
Here at Angelo's, we have a fantastic Italian buffet with your favorite pastas served with meatballs and sausage and delicious gourmet pizzas. But where we really shine is our entrees like our scampi traditional, Alfredo or lemon romano served over linguine, our French pork chops with garlic mashed potatoes, and our twin fillets featuring our signature marsala sauce. It's a great place to enjoy with family and friends, so stop by and see us at our new location at the corner of 24th Avenue South and South Kings Highway.
Don't just take my word for it. Come in and try Angelo's, home of the greatest steaks in the universe.
Here at Angelo's.
Welcome back. We got Johnny Fryer from the Clark Parker campaign. We're talking a bit. And I just brought up the federal budget deficit. John wants to respond to it, so go ahead.
There's a lot of sunk costs that no president will be able to reverse because it's so systematic. A lot of that debt is, as John pointed out, is military spending.
You had to build a military, and it's not cheap. So there's a cost involved in that.
And he inherited 2 wars. You've got Social Security. You've got a bunch of stuff that's already baked into the pie.
Well, healthcare is the number one.
So I'm not going to say that because Trump has done a bad job because there's $1 trillion.
Well, we're not interested in that right now. We're interested in Clark Parker locally, and he's facing a candidate that's very strong. Lois Hurdle's been there for years. Many people respect her. She's done a fine job, and she's very aggressive. So he has to now have that to battle, and she's way ahead in my opinion because she's well known. And she's done, in my opinion, again, she's done a good job. Not taking anything away from Clark, but Clark has done a great number of items here. He's a member of Gideon, which is a religious group that goes out and gives Bibles and so forth. So that's one aspect of his professional career. The other one, now he's going into politics. He did say, as you said, he did run for Congress. Mm-hmm. And you told us that he carried Horry County, so that's a plus for him. So now he has to build on that. How he's going to build on that, that's what we're trying to determine.
Lois has done a fine job. She's been there for 27 years. We did the math before the show. I think it's time to pass the baton.
So you want to retire her? In a nice way, is that it? You want to win the election and retire?
That's he wants to beat her. That's what he wants to do.
Well, what does retire mean?
It's all
the same
about.
thing. It's the same thing. I'm more kinder than you are. Go ahead.
Absolutely, we want to beat her. We want to retire. We want her to. We want.
Yeah, but how do you do it?
Well, I'm gonna have to tell you.
That's what you're here for, to tell us.
We actually went to Lois before contemplating running, and she said she was going to retire.
And, I see.
And that's one of the reasons that we chose to run for auditor. And I believe some personal things must have changed for Lois since she decided to run. But it's time to pass the baton on. It's time for new blood. There's you're gonna have to have people that can work with people. Lois can do that, but there's a technical side to the auditor's job. I will argue with Paul for as long as he likes about.
Well, go ahead, do it. He's ready for you. He's smiling. See him? He's prepared. He's got 3 more curveballs, so watch out.
I do have one question, but finish your thought. I do have one question.
There needs to be technical expertise in the auditor's office outside of the people who are the employees. There needs to be some technical expertise at the top.
Okay. Let me go back to something. You said that you're kind of you're helping build name recognition and what have you.
Right.
And you mentioned something about the yard signs that you have out there.
Mm. I mentioned signs, yes.
And I know that there was one in Listen Barfield's yard, and there was one across from Socastee High School, and there's one out on Highway 90 by the...
How do you know that?
Because I've seen them.
You Listen Barfield, way out there?
Yeah. Am I right?
You are.
Okay.
Listen,
and there's one on Highway 90 that I've seen by the old substation at Wampee or whatever they used to call that.
Boy,
police
you travel
extension.
a lot, man. You travel. Wow.
Well, I'm not totally homebound.
I haven't been there.
My question is, why are they there?
I don't understand that question.
Well, the county sign ordinance says political signs may go out 45 days before an election.
Well, Clark can't control a person that puts a yard sign out in his yard. How is he going to know that? He's giving out signs, but he's not telling them to break the law.
That deals with county land.
No, it doesn't.
It does not deal with private property.
It certainly does. You read that ordinance.
It
specifically says that you can't go in a public right-of-way. You can't put signs there. You have to put them on private property. But it says 45 days prior to an election, that's it.
Yeah, but what happens if the person picks up a sign and they don't know the ordinance and they don't know the law? They picked up a sign, but Clark's not telling them to put them right up. When it's time to put them up, they put them up. So if a person puts it in the yard, how is Clark going to know that? He's not encouraging you to put them up now.
I've told you about 3 that shouldn't be there.
As far as I know, I mean, we've talked to the people at the county. We're in.
Well, then you're in trouble. If you talk to the people in the county, you're in trouble.
I mean, we're in guidelines with the signs.
Okay, that's curveball number two.
Just read the county sign.
Give us curveball 2.
That's it.
He's ready for you.
Right, that's it.
Now he knows your curveballs, how they look. You said it's a slider, but
I'm told you.
Okay, he's
we're
confused.
on series time. We got to get this thing right.
We're confusing him.
We're giving the 1 sign, the 2 sign, and the 3 sign. I haven't thrown any fastball.
Well, thank God. But anyway, are you satisfied as to how the campaign is going thus far, except for the discrepancies that you're finding now from Paul? Can you tell us some of the people that are supporting Clark in this early stages of his campaign?
Sure. We've got a mixture of business people, past politicians, and a lot of academics, because as you know, Clark is an honorary founder at Coastal, and he's done. He worked in the higher education committee for some time, so he's got a lot of knowledge of people in those areas. So we have some academics. Ms. Deidre Edmonds is a local attorney.
How are they going to help him? How do they help him? The academics, how are they going to help him? He just told you that she doesn't do the audits. She only prepares tax bills and so forth. How do they integrate their skills into the office of auditor?
Well, they're not going to be employees of the office.
I understand that, but they're going to help.
They're
so
helping
how do you help? How do they help?
Well, just like in every campaign, you coordinate dinners. You have neighborhood lunches at someone's house. Everyone knows someone, so we're trying to touch everyone, and the easiest way to do it is to get centers of influence first. So we try to get a center of influence, get their friends to come to a dinner party, a house party, talk about the issues, meet the client or the candidate. And
so he'll go to a person that has maybe 5 or 6 people there just to meet them. Is that it? Like
yeah, absolutely.
A tea party or a garden party or something of that nature. So he's reaching out to those people. Is what you're saying?
That's right, and we're hearing the people's concerns too.
We're getting right down to the end. So one last word. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I do. Clark has, we mentioned he ran for Congress and he did very well. He's an astute politician, but the thing about him is he's honest. Everyone knows him to be honest, and everyone knows him to be a hard worker. He's usually at the office by 5 a.m. Oh, and he's always doing things for others. He has every trait of someone that you would want running for office.
Is he transparent?
He's absolutely transparent.
Is he transparent? That's what people want to know. They say they're transparent, and then when you get in office, they close the doors on you. Just like the Democrats in the Congress, they say they're transparent, and they close the doors. You can't even hear a hearing because they're down on the 2nd floor of the Capitol building having hearings on impeachment. So there's one illustration when you're talking about transparent. We don't have it. So everybody says it, and there's a lack of that, and people get frustrated by that. They throw up their hands and say, there's another politician that makes promises and don't keep them.
But John, on that note, we have to go. Johnny, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And I hope to have you back again when you can be the guest star instead of us.
We'll be back next week. Thank you.